everybody. Yesterday, we talked about what you were pretending not to know. And today we're going to talk about what are you pretending to do. So stay with me on this. I want you to be honest. Have you been hiding? Have you been hiding behind what you say you are doing versus what you are actually doing? So what are you pretending not to know or pretending to do? Yesterday we talked about what are you pretending not to know, and today the same approach of pretending to do something when you're not actually doing it has the same detrimental effects on your goal, on your life, and really the whole point of everything that we're talking about is the fact that you begin to collect evidence that starts to shape your beliefs. Okay, and so if you are constantly creating habits of not saying or not doing what you say you're going to do, not consistently pursuing what it is that you want, not going all the way, not creating the life that you want, not being in pursuit of the life that you want, you start to collect evidence that, one, you can't do it, right? And two, that it's difficult or not possible. And it's just not true. And that's why we're talking about how do you start creating evidence that it is possible so that you can train your brain. Everything is about training yourself, training the way that you think, and your repetitive thoughts become what you actually believe. Do you get that? So that's why creating the evidence around you, learning how to become solution oriented and focused until you create what it is that you want. That is why that is so important to shaping the way that you believe, because then we go out and we reinforce what we believe. We reinforce it with the language that we use. And then as a result, whatever we believe and whatever we're focused on, we start to feel that. We start to create our emotions. Okay, so our regular thoughts feed into our languaging, and that creates our emotion, and all of that becomes our belief in our mind system. So how do we intentionally change? How do we manifest on purpose what it is that we want? It starts with intentionally changing the way that we think and collecting evidence. So what are you pretending to do that you're not really doing? And let's be honest, like if you're watching this live, share it in the comments so that you can release it, put it out into the universe, and get some collective support behind, okay, I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. I think of my my own business coach, Shanda. She talks about a time in her life when she would go to like the Starbucks or the local coffee shop, and I think she said she spent like a year sitting there, you know, with her computer and her notepad and her headphones, and she was pretending to work. She was pretending to work. She was pretending to actually create something in this business that she had at that point, you know, quote unquote, started, but all she was really doing was wasting time. Do you ever find yourself doing that? Like, so she was sitting at the coffee shop day after day, like researching, you know, writing plans, journaling, all of this stuff, but none of it was actually moving the needle forward, right? She wasn't actually really doing anything. She was just being busy, wasting time. How many of you can relate to that? Just being busy, wasting time, not actually creating a real result. So yesterday I shared a story with you about a client, Rhonda, who came to me. She was referred by a business colleague because she just could not, she couldn't get her to actually apply what it was that she was teaching her. And so Rhonda came to me after 3 years of being having this business and only making like a couple $1,000s a year. So we talked about in yesterday's live, and if you didn't watch it, I really suggest that you do. It was really good. Really good story and a really good through line and an example that you can really relate to in your own life. So she was pretending not to know that she was actually sabotaging her business, not everyone else. because up until that point, she was pointing the finger at coaches, different programs, you know, why she couldn't, you know, all the things that were in the way. And what I got her to see is that she was pretending not to know that she was actually the one blocking her progress. She was also pretending that she was actually working on her business, but she wasn't. She wasn't actually working on, she wasn't applying what she was being taught. Okay. So, and she was also pretending that she was having quality time with her kids, but she wasn't. Right. So she was really committed to having her 4 kids at home and homeschooling them, which is a beautiful thing. I homeschooled my daughter for 2 years, by the way. But her whole reasoning is, you know, I want to have quality time with my kids. But the problem with that is she wasn't actually having that time with her kids because she was so stressed out trying to also carve out time for her business. And because she didn't have any help in her business and she didn't have any help with homeschooling her kids, she wasn't actually, 1, working on the business, or 2, having quality time with her children. She was actually hiding in her closet several times a day in tears, in overwhelm. So the things that she was pretending to do, work on her business and have quality time with her kids, weren't actually happening. She wasn't actually doing those things. And when I was able to help her see that, in addition to what she was pretending not to know, which we talked about yesterday, once we got that, like pulled that veil back and she was able to identify those truths, then it was just a matter of plugging in, okay, now that you know it and you're no longer pretending not to know, how do you then start moving forward to do the things that you were pretending to do? You guys get it? So think about in your own life, for example, maybe you have a weight loss goal and you're pretending that you're actually sticking to whatever diet or change or way of eating that you committed to. But really behind closed doors, you're not, right? Maybe you're doing it 80% of the time. You know, that's pretty good, but what are you doing the other 20%? Maybe, you know, you're doing it all day long and then at night you're binge eating or something, right? So you're pretending that you're actually following the system and the process that you know will get you the result, but you're not actually doing it. You're not following it. And then what ends up happening is you say that the system or the process doesn't work, right? So for me right now, it would be like me training to have my pro debut in my bodybuilding sport, which I haven't set a date yet, but it's going to be sometime like in March or April. But anyway, it would be like me pretending behind the scenes that I'm training for that, and I'm really not going to the gym or whatever. And so what happens is then that date keeps getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And there was a point where I want to say like a month ago where I wasn't really following the diet because I know that it's so far out, but I wasn't pretending to. So here's the difference. You've got to be very honest with yourself, number 1, and number 2, honest with the people that have been put in place to support you. So like whether that's your coach, whether that's your mentor, whether that's your spouse. So all of this is about getting honest, right? What are you pretending not to know? What are you pretending to do? So like with me last month, when I just was like, my coach sent me like my macros and everything to follow. And, you know, I was going out with my family a lot and I was traveling. I said to him, I'm not on the diet. I just want you to know that, you know, like I'm just not. So I'm not pretending that the results that I'm seeing are reflective of me actually following the program. You get that? If you get that, let me know. Throw something in the comments as you're watching this live or as you're watching the replay. Is there something that you are pretending to do that you're not? We'll go back to the example that I used of Shanda. If you have a business goal, so many of you here are starting a business on the side, or you already have a business on the side. Are you pretending to actually follow the coaching that you've been given? from either your business coach, maybe you're in a mastermind and you've been given a, like, hey, these are the steps that will get you to X, Y, and Z. And so maybe you've convinced yourself that you can do it another way, or that you'll only do a couple of the steps. Maybe you've convinced yourself that you'll start later. And so you're pretending that you're actually doing it on the outside, right? You're probably even saying to your coach, yeah, I started doing that. I watched that thing you told me about. Yeah, I'm tracking this, yeah, I'm doing it. That becomes a pattern of us buying our own BS. Do you get that? We can easily buy into our own BS and then enroll other people in it. But think about it. Who does that hurt at the end of the day? You clearly are not going to get to the goal or the aspiration that you have, or at least you're going to make it a lot longer and harder. And also you're beginning to collect evidence again that you can't actually have what you want, or that you don't go all the way, or that you don't have it in you. But you do if you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, staying laser focused, being honest with yourself about what you were pretending not to know, now know it, and what you were pretending to do, now do it. And all of those things start to connect with consistency. So I talk to people often who also have like financial goals. And so we'll lay out something. I don't teach people finances. Everything that I teach is founded in, how you manage your mind, how you think like a high performer so that you can actually create the result, how you trim the fat so that you can stay focused and go. There are plenty of people teaching business, strategies and sales and marketing. And there are plenty of people, teaching, how to balance your finances and all of that. But how many times do you collect all that information, all that research, and still find a way to get off track? That's why it's here. That's why that is so important, and that's why I'm focused on that. So I'll talk to a lot of people who have a financial goal, and they even have a plan of how to get there, and they're pretending to follow that plan. They're pretending to put those pieces, to line those pieces up, and to, put this much aside every day, or not spend on, the $5 coffee. By the way, I stopped at a coffee shop. Well, God, this must have been 3 weeks ago. Something came out, some new coffee. I heard somebody on Facebook talk about it. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to treat myself. That sounds like, meaning treat myself to the calories. That sounds like something delicious. I almost fell on the floor. The coffee was like $7.50. I was like, oh, what? So maybe your financial advisor or you sitting down with your spouse have talked about like cutting out the $7 a day coffees, and you're really not doing it, right? Like maybe you've cut out 2 and you're still having the other 3, 4, 5. So the point is, it's the things that we're pretending. The word is pretending. It's the things that we're pretending to do that we're not actually doing that are sabotaging our success. So you get to be honest. Pardon me, you get to be honest with yourself if you want an honest result and if you want to make a shift. So I want to jump into the comments and just, Evram says, having honest relation. Yes, my husband told me a few weeks ago, you pretend that you let go of control. It was great feedback for me. That is really good feedback, because what I'm talking about is more of some things on the surface. But what you're pointing out, Evram, is that's a really like a deeper one, right? So are you pretending to let go of control, but yet you're still holding on with all your might? I see this often with people over the years who I've coached. Every single year, you always have 1 or 2 who don't let go of control. And guess what? They don't get the result. You just don't get the result because you don't see what you don't see. You don't see what you don't see. And you're so afraid to let go of that control because what if it doesn't work? What if her way's not the right way? What if I fail? And so not letting go of control comes from a place in our past, right? It just does. You know, that's something I have to coach myself on all the time, right? That's something I have to. So Evram, your husband pointing that out to you is great feedback. And then what do you do with it, right? What do you do with it? Are you pretend? So like, if we even take it deeper, are you pretending that you're letting go of control, but you're not? That's one. Let's go deeper. Are you pretending to be honest with the people in your life, but really you're keeping important things hidden from them? And you're wondering why, like, there's certain pieces of your life that just aren't adding up. Are you pretending to be emotionally available to your children, to your spouse, but really you're not? Are you pretending that you're being vulnerable in your relationships, but you're not? You're holding stuff back. Like, this goes deep. This goes deep. The whole theme here is like, what are we pretending? And why are we pretending? That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. So I encourage you to be honest. I encourage you to be honest today, right? Let's just start with today and take this coaching from today and look at where you can have an assessment, an honest assessment in your personal life and in your professional life about what you're pretending and what you're willing to let go of and be honest about in order to move the needle forward or move the needle over to get you on your path towards achieving whatever it is that you want, and not even just achieving, but experiencing. What is the feeling that you want to experience? Because the truth is, we only ever want something. We only ever set a goal, whether it's financial, whether it's fitness, whether it's business, relationship. We only set that goal, even as parents, because we believe that we will feel a certain way when we get there, right? We believe that we will feel a certain way when we get there. So get honest about, what is the experience that you want to feel? What is it that you want to feel as a result of being honest, letting go of these like things that you're pretending? And think about that big vision, that big goal that we've talked about a few weeks ago. We talked about that the week prior to how to stay focused on your goal, because what's most important is that you have a really deep vision that you're connected to that's bigger than money or anything like that. So think about that big vision, that big goal, that big why, that big mission or whatever it is. And what is the feeling that you want to experience when you achieve it? That's the reason you set it. And then how will you get closer to it? By like stopping pretending. I was trying to figure out how to say that. By no longer pretending that you actually are doing what it is you say you're doing to get there. Okay? So get honest with yourself today. That is your call to action, is today at some point. I suggest you do it now if you have 5 minutes. Just quickly write down or say out loud, go somewhere and walk and talk out loud. What is it I'm pretending not to know? What is it I'm pretending to do that I'm not? And what am I committed to doing now to help move that needle towards that bigger vision and goal that I have? If you want support from me, I have a couple appointments open on my calendar, and I will drop the link in here so that you can book a call, maybe grab one of those 2 spots that I believe I have between now and Friday. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow morning. Have a great day. Be honest with yourself, guys. Bye.